for starters, Mike Norvell got inside the flex field, and it was freezing. So he shut off the air conditioning. He turned off the fans that are blowing above and tried to heat up the place. Coaches, particularly down here, even though Florida State's going to open up over in Ireland. I don't know what the temperatures are going to be over in Ireland coming up in a couple of Saturdays, but it seems like whenever you get any type as far as the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of London or Ireland, what do you got? Yeah, I'll tell you what you got. You got no sun, you got rain, and you got cold. So I don't believe that Florida State's going to open up over in Ireland and it's going to be like it is here in Jacksonville or the way it's been over in God's country where it's 90-plus degrees every day. Regardless of that, these coaches want it hot. So Norvell wasn't especially happy about that particular intangible. Remember, his message has been, since he's come here, he wants to make things uncomfortable for his team. New roommates on the road. I guess twin-size dorm room beds. Make it difficult for them. This is all part of the training camp process. And, this isn't a reward. Let's go to an NFL city. Let's bring you to an NFL facility and do all these things. No, this is to try to make them uncomfortable about some of the challenges in camp and also getting them ready for when they go out on the road to play some football games this year. So my guess is if Mother Nature does its part and the field holds up, they'll be at UNF tomorrow. And hopefully that is the case. If I do get something here from Florida State Sports Information while I'm on the air, I will absolutely share that with you as soon as it does come in. Florida State, defense ahead of the offense, okay? This defense has a chance to be outstanding, okay? It is a defensive NFL line. Patrick Payton, very noticeable addition of 12 to 15 pounds, okay? I remember last year, I said it. Some of you criticized me, and that's fine. I can handle it. I said I thought Patrick Payton had a chance to be better than Jared Verse. We'll see what Jared Verse does out in L.A. Jared Verse was phenomenal in his career at Florida State. I think Patrick Payton, with his length and the ability to still add weight, has a chance to be even better. Will you take that bet? That's up to you. Will I be wrong? I don't know. Anyway, nice day for Patrick Payton. On the other side, MJJ, right? Marvin Jones Jr., 2 or 3 quarterback pressures, in my opinion. Also, his ability to really collapse the pocket. It's unfair at this point for me to compare him to Trayvon Walker. Trayvon Walker was the first pick in the NFL draft, but there are some similarities between these two. They were both used in a lot of different roles at Georgia, and they did several different things. Trayvon Walker, as you know, played 3 different positions at Georgia. He wasn't a sick'em, go after the quarterback defensive end. He did a variety of different things, including set the edge and certainly dropped in coverage. We talked to Trayvon Walker, what was it, not this past Saturday, it might have been a week ago Saturday. I know these days run together during camp, but he's no longer going to be asked to drop in coverage, and he loves it. It's not his forte. Marvin Jones Jr. wasn't used the ideal way that a lot of people believe he should be used. Now, I'm not criticizing Georgia. How can you do that? They won consecutive national titles, 29 in a row, and they got as screwed almost as bad as Florida State did, being left out of the 4-team college football playoff. You don't owe an explanation to anything that is Georgia related. But my point on this is those who are true college football fans, and I'm not talking about those who drink 18 Busch Lights and yell and scream, and that's all fun too. I mean, I've been there. That's a hoot. But those who really follow the game and know the game, you're going to see that Florida State's going to use Jones Jr. much differently than the way that Georgia used him. And I think that that's going to be pretty cool to sit back and witness. The interior defensive line, man, it's just name after name after name. Joshua Farmer, right? He said to Love it a year ago. He said, no, this is my job. I'm taking away your job. I'm making you a two-down defensive lineman, and for the most part, I'm going to take your snaps away because I'm a better football player, right? We saw that last year with Joshua Farmer over Fabian Lovett. Certainly, I want to say the same thing right now on that defensive line about Darrell Jackson. He just looks phenomenal. He hasn't played football in a year. Will there be some rust once the regular season games come along? I don't know. We'll see. But then guys like Daniel Lyons and D.D. Holmes and Grady Kelly, I mean, there's just a lot of depth that Odell Higgins has put together with that interior defensive line. The secondary, just fantastic. I mean, an NFL secondary. Shaheem Brown, star as a safety. Two corners that they absolutely love. And A.Z. Thomas. Fentrell Cypress, kind of up and down since he came over from Virginia. Some younger guys who stood out today. I noticed the 5-star, what the heck is his name? It's on the tip of my tongue right now. Is it, I apologize for this, but when you're watching 90-some-odd players, sometimes this ends up happening. I think it's Lester. Yeah, it's Charles Lester III. Length. Okay, making plays one-on-one. Someone sent me a report. The number was 13. I didn't have it that high, but I wasn't counting. There was a time in practice today when you had one-on-ones between wide receivers and defensive backs that the DBs shut down the receivers 13 consecutive times. The flip side of that, that's 13 straight incompletions by Florida State offensively. That is your problem, okay? That is your concern. Let's make no bones about it. If we were to play old school football, Florida State can run the ball. Florida State can stop the run. I think this is their biggest offensive line in a decade. I love their backs. I absolutely do. I think Roydell Williams is going to be the bell cow. But for me, it comes down to who is able to make a play at wide receiver. Way too many drops today. Way too much inconsistency today. DJ U, a good day. DJ U also high on a lot of balls. DJ U also missing open wide receivers. Then there are times when a pass is completed or should be completed, Florida State is not able to complete the drill. Okay, the best example of that today is with Kentrell Portier, right? Nice ball. You have to make the grab, and he doesn't. He's unable to hang on to it. I've been saying it forever. These fifth-year seniors, I just don't know what Mike Norvell is going to do here. It's almost becoming a situation where you got to ask yourself, how long is the leash? How many opportunities for Kentrell Portier? How many opportunities for Deuce Spawn? How many opportunities for Darian Williamson until you just say, all right, we appreciate your effort, but it's not going to work today. A big drop today by Darius Williamson. It can't happen. And it is happening right now. There's no doubt the best wide receiver is Malik Benson. And he had an outstanding day. His effort was sensational, but it felt as though he's moving ahead and becoming the leader of that group. And I understand that leadership qualities have changed in college football. There was a time where a transfer portal kid could come in, wait your turn. Now you're relying on these transfer portal kids to come in and not only be your best player, but also be your leaders, right? Who are the leaders right now on this offense? To me, that's a That's a big part of all this. The defense has alphas. The defense has plenty of leaders. And the defense has great players. But if you need a play, who on this offense do you go to? Who is a leader? And Malik Benson is a guy with, 14 career receptions? I'll look it up here during our first break. He appears to have emerged as the best wide receiver of this group. I've heard some wonderful things about the true freshman Elijah Moore. 6'4", big, can run like the wind. I watched him drop 3 balls today. Okay? Do you want a guy dropping 3 balls? Do you want him on the field? And so that's what it comes down to. And they didn't even provide a roster today. They didn't provide a depth chart. I think that's part of the game plan, to kind of have the media scrambling and doing whatever. But I know who the wide receivers are. And I look at their starters right here. This is our lads, okay? Kentrell Portier. No. I mean, he's a 5th-year senior. No. Malik Benson. Okay. Yeah, I just went off on him. Ja'Kai Douglas, slot guy, was instrumental in that victory against Pitt. A fan. Health is always a concern, right? But is he just a guy? Hakeem Williams wasn't even practicing today. Okay, and I didn't ask Mike Norvell. Hell, if I did, he would have shipped me off to Siberia. Darian Williamson, hell no. Deuce Spawn, hell no. After his turtle on that kick return against Georgia, I'm surprised they even asked him to come back and play for a senior year. And then you look at these freshmen, Elijah Moore, Lane McCoy. Jaylen Brown, to me, was the second best wide receiver out there today for Florida State. So this is what you have. You have names at wide receiver. You don't have production. You don't have results. This is going to be an incredibly interesting year for Mike Norvell in this offense, and it comes down to this. How do you get the football in your best players' hands? And they're going to be able to run the ball. I have no fear with that. And as a matter of fact, the only way that they're not going to be able to run the ball is if defenses are allowed to cheat, put an extra man in the box, and they're on their toes, and they're leaning downfield or downhill because Florida State really scrambles to get anything done in the air. Okay? That is a possibility. To me, it's all about offensive scheming. For instance, Lawrence Toafili may be their best offensive player. You got to have him on the field all the time. I think Roydell Williams is going to be your running back. I think he's going to be your starter, and he's going to be the guy with the most carries. So is Toafili a guy that you have in the slot? It's not perfect because he's not a wide receiver, but the kid makes plays. He's caught big balls in his career. He's got the ability to be a great teammate, and in a pinch, instead of being the featured tailback, which I still believe is Williams. Don't get me wrong, Toafili's going to get his. But I don't want him coming off the field. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I don't want Toafili coming off the field, and all of a sudden I look up and here comes Deuce Spawn. Or here comes Darius Williams. No. And I know they're more Z guys, but I'm just hypothetically throwing this out there. You got to find a way to offensively scheme and get him the ball. Jalen Lucas, fastest guy on the field. You can hide him. He's like 5'6". Today, and I don't want to give up anything that they're doing offensively out of respect for them not wanting us to talk about the type of plays that they run and what have you. I loved what they were doing with this guy. Finding a way to get him the football. This is going to be such a huge year for Florida State when it comes to out-coaching your opponent. They just showed they can win ugly. They won ugly against Florida. They won ugly against Louisville. They won with defense. They won with finding a way to manage your offense. There's too much inconsistency with their passing game. DJU misses guys. He completed 57% of his passes 1 year ago. Even the highlight film play of the day to Malik Benson, if it was a perfect pass, it would have been just another pass. It wasn't. It was a ball that was real high. It was a miss by your quarterback, and you had to see tremendous athleticism by the wide receiver transfer from Alabama. Remember this. Mike Norvell has won with 3-star players. He's won with transfer portal players, and they weren't transfer portal players who came over here who were already stars. All right, Keon Coleman put up numbers at Michigan State. Braden Fisk put up some numbers. But go back and look at Trey Benson. Go look at Johnny Wilson. Go look at Jared Verse. Go look at all of these transfers and look at what they did before they got at Florida State. Norvell made them better. His coaching staff made them better. Okay? Mike Norvell now is starting to get better football players. Okay? That is very obvious by looking at what this team is doing. They're bringing in more talented players. Is it going to happen right out of the gate with some of these true freshmen? Probably not. Okay, Amari Williams is a guy. Out of all the true freshmen, wow, Amari Williams. To me, he might have been the best of the true freshmen that I actually saw out there earlier this afternoon, or I should say late this morning. But that's the thing that you have to remember. He's starting to get 4 stars now, and he's going to get an occasional 5-star. He's still bringing in transfer portal kids, but he's getting better football players. This is going to have to be a year that Florida State finds the way to dummy things down offensively and just get the football in the hands of Toafili. Get the football to Jalen Lucas. Run the ball. My biggest fear is that Florida State's down by a couple of possessions. Does this team have the wherewithal to come from behind if you make them one-dimensional, if you make them a passing offense? Right now, I have some serious reservations about that. We shall see. I mean, hey, listen, DJU's got 40 starts. 40. When Bo Nix left Auburn, they're like, yeah, whatever. Bo Nix went on to have the most career starts of any college football quarterback. He had a great career at Oregon. He's now battling to be a starter as a rookie in Denver. I'm not going to say the same thing's going to happen for DJU, but I think we're going to find out fairly early. It's either going to work for this guy or it's not going to work for this guy. I don't ever think it's going to be pretty for DJU. I don't think it's going to be pretty. But I think that this is the key to Florida State. They can beat you in the ditch. They can beat you up at the line of scrimmage. And that secondary, I'm a little concerned about depth at linebacker. Okay, although the kid from Auburn looked pretty good today. I'll say that. He's the one that stood out. Who am I thinking of here? Cam Riley. Yeah, he out of all the linebackers, I thought he had the best day today. Number 18 coming over from the Plains. A little thin there, though, at LB. Certainly compared to an NFL backfield and an NFL defensive line. So,
hey guys, Taylor Dahl here. Thanks so much for checking out 1010XL Seminoles page. If you're looking for more college football content, you can head over to the Gators page, or if you want some professional football content, check out our 1010XL Jaguars page.